What's going on, team? It's Caddy with Money Investing. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. So in this video, we're going to talk about the S&P 500 index, and we'll go over the pattern. We'll look at the daily time frame, and then we'll jump over to the 1 hour time frame to understand the price action and where those next key support and resistance levels are going to be. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel. Also, if you're new, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future market updates and videos related to investing and technical breakdowns. Before we get into the video, I really want to thank each and every one of you guys. We just crossed over 4,000 subscribers. So really thank you so much for all the support. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I couldn't be happier to cross this milestone. So now we're going to jump over to the S&P 500. So this is my trading view platform. This is what I use to look at all my charts, all my patterns, create all these different watch lists, create all these alerts. So if you want to get started, all the links are going to be down in the description below. So the S&P 500 was up close to about 28 basis points. And if you look at some of these other market indices, you'll see the NASDAQ was also up close to 28 basis points, and Dow Jones was actually down today, close to about 0.75 of a percentage point at down 23 basis points. So if you've been following up with any of my previous market updates, you have a really good understanding on what we were watching in terms of the price action and some of those bull camps and bear camps, what we have recognized based on previous patterns. So 3,000 level continues to hold our very key level of support, and our bull camp right around this level where we have previously found support and then pushed up all the way to 31.55 and then sold off, pulling back down to the 3,000 level again, and then eventually breaking out of that level by pushing up close to over 6.5% and breaking out of the 31.55 level. That being said, over the course of the last few days, you can see that we have just been consolidating in between this range. You can see how we had a bull day with a followed up with a bear day, and then a bull day and a bear day, and it was just kind of reversing every single day up until more recently when on July 15 we essentially broke out of that level and then pushed up all the way as high as our bear camp, which is going to sit at 32.30, where we have previously gone rejected here. More recently on July 13th, we essentially pushed up all the way up to that level and then got sold off. And today as well, you can see how we pushed up all the way to 32.30, hitting highs of 32.33.52, as you guys can see right here, but then essentially sold off. The interesting thing to note is that the last 3 days have absolutely been so much indecision in the markets, and the bulls and bears essentially consolidating so much, and the pattern has just been trading sideways, right? So if you were to kind of highlight these two candles right here, you can see how this was a doji candle, today was a doji candle, and compared to some of the previous days when you can see there these big green and red candles, you can see the difference in the trading activity and the sentiment in the market, right? So this is very clear to kind of identify how there's so much indecision. Now that being said, our bear camp continues to sit at 32.30, so we are getting rejected and getting some downward pressure from the bears at that level. So if you were to go over to the 1 hour chart, you'll notice that yesterday, well, even before that on July 13th, so on Monday, we essentially gapped up, filled this gap over the weekend. We pushed up as high as 32.30, and the bear camp was valid, and it had us rejected on that price point and essentially forced us to drop close to about 3.5%, selling all the way down to levels of 31.30. Now, over the next few days, we essentially made our way back to that level and then got rejected for the second time, pulling back down to 3,200 and then pushed up. So in my previous market update, I mentioned this green box rectangle right here, kind of like the 3,200 level, and I said that I will be really curious to know if we're going to hold the 3,200 level or not. And I also mentioned that we are going to continue to trade between 3,230 and 3,200 because there's so much support at 3,200, but there's so much resistance at 3,230. The only question is, which are we going to break first? And I asked you guys in the comments, and I think there was like mixed feelings. People were thinking that we're going to hit 32.30, people thinking that we're going to hit 3,200. Some were more on the bullish side, some were more on the bearish side. So I ask you guys again, what do you guys think? Based on the price action, based on the momentum, where are we headed next? Are we going to eventually break out of 32.30, or we're going to pull back down to 3,200 to retest this support, which has previously acted as support multiple times now? And if we were to break below 3,200, the next support sits at 31.85, and then below that we're sitting at 3150 to 3155 level, where we have previously found support as well. Now this right here, again, like I said, is a very consolidated pattern, so there's definitely mixed signals both from the bears and the bulls. But in my opinion, in my analysis, and I've mentioned this yesterday too, based on the fact that we have seen so much buyer momentum, right? Every time the pattern was essentially down to this level at 3200 twice, yesterday and today, both times it essentially got bought up towards the end. So even today we dipped as low as 3205, so the low for the day was 3205.65, but then the pattern essentially rallied over the next 3 to 4 hours, pushing up close to 80 basis points. So if the pattern was in reverse, if we were hitting resistance first and then getting sold off, then in my opinion, I would have seen that as a sign of weakness. But the fact that we hit support first and then get pushed up just goes to show that there is still a strength in the pattern, if that makes sense. Again, there's no certainty as to where the pattern is going to go. Nobody knows where the markets are potentially going to go. This is just an analysis and prediction, and I'm trying to be as delta neutral as possible and present all the potential outcomes for both the bulls and the bears, so we are prepared for everything that can potentially happen in the market. Even if we do break out, where's the next resistance? If we do break down, where's the next support? So we can manage our risk accordingly, and we're able to manage our portfolio in a way that makes sense for us, right? So that being said, to give you guys a quick recap on the S&P 500, right now we are still consolidating on the daily chart, but even though we are consolidating, there's definitely more buyer momentum or bullish sentiment in the market on an intraday level. And the only reason I say that is because both times when we have approached some type of support, the buyers have come into the market, essentially pushing the markets higher, even though we might be down on the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my quick technical breakdown on the S&P 500. The next resistance continues to sit at our bear candle, which is going to be at 3230, and if we do break out of that level, then I can potentially see the next resistance at 3330 in a 100-point jump, which is going to result in a gain of over 3%. If we do pull back and again get rejected at 3230, then this right here is going to continue to hold our support and more near-term bull camp right on the 3200 level on the dot. If we do break below that level, then the next support is sitting at 3185 right around this level, and then our next bull camp will be sitting at 3155. And I personally have already mentioned, but I don't see the patterns dropping as low as 3000, because in my opinion that seems more of a far-fetched scenario, let alone retesting lows from March. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my quick technical breakdown. As always, if you did, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel. Also subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future market updates, videos related to investing and technical breakdowns. As always, happy investing, and I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you again for 4,000 subscribers.